the system there's any attempt to, do anything.
Exactly.
But it's just matters. It's a messy system.
Yeah.
But they do well. They do well.
It works.
Back home, it gets worse.
Yeah.
You can follow it for the rest of the semester or for the year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
By the time you start classes, it's my hope that all that's taken care of, so that you can just focus on the classes.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your help, Mike.
Yeah.
You have been a wonderful person. Thank you even for opportunities, and information. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. I need to go.
Yes.
Have my late lunch and then go to the library.
Nice.
Yes.
Sounds good.
All right.
Is there any package from Lucy for me? Anything? And I bought me.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. So thank you so much. I am glad to share my story and to encourage someone who have an intention, a desire, a dream of, developing himself, herself. And so before I even started thinking about going to, changing career, I was working in a pharmaceutical company. And I worked in that company for 14 years and I was okay. It is that one place where you are, comfortable. I was very, very comfortable. But I had reached a point where I was feeling deep down in my heart, I needed a change, and I needed a change that was, a change that was going towards transforming the lives of people. Yes, I know that I was being called a doctor everywhere I went. I was wearing a white, dust coat, the one that doctors wear, and I was feeling good. And at the same time, I was feeling guilty because I had not earned the name doctor. It was only through experience. It was only through learning. So I felt the Lord leading me into a different direction. And I felt a push, like I needed to serve the Lord. And I didn't know where I would serve the Lord. And so I prayed over it. I really prayed over it, and I was even ready to resign. And one day I really felt like this is the day you need to resign. And I actually resigned. And that time, because it was kind of a private company, there was nothing attached to it. So there were no benefits. I remember I was only given my salary for the month, and I left the organization and I started thinking of where to go. And I didn't have, I was not stabilized, but I wanted to go. And I just had, this push that was the end for me to work in that company. And so I wanted to serve the Lord. And later on, I realized that the Lord was calling me into, being a doctor into spiritual, we can say like spiritual transformation, because I was doing physical transformation before. I was treating people who were sick. I was giving them medication. And now God was calling me to a spiritual transformation where I was preaching Jesus Christ. As much as I was also taking good care of people, I wanted to see this kind of a spiritual transformation where I wanted to preach Jesus Christ to wherever God would take me. And so God opened for me a door. I went into a different place where I started doing my own things. I started doing my casual things. I started selling some cosmetics, and I was still feeling a deep, gap in my heart, a deep gap that needed to be filled. And after 3 years of struggling, working and hawking some beauty products, opening different shops in different towns, I still felt a gap. And even though I joined this great, wonderful church where I ministered, a church where I led group of women, a church where I served, in the hospitality department. I was also an intercessor at some point, and I still felt there was a gap in me that needed to be filled. I even wanted to join choir, thinking that this is the place that I will be satisfied. This is the place where I will feel like I am serving the Lord. But lo and behold, I was still not satisfied. I went into this great organization. It was a children organization, and the door opened for me to go and serve there. And there were different kinds of needs. There were, by the mention of the name, I don't think I would have wanted to go and suffer, because I knew children who are orphans, have gone through a lot. They need care. They need love. So how was I going to give these kids love? I have, yes, my one daughter. I give love to my one daughter. How was I going to give love to the many kids in this children's home? And it was only 4 years since it was founded. And so kids needed school fees, kids needed clothing, kids needed medical, kids needed everything, the way a family would be, like a family that is together. Kids needed this love of a father and a mother. And I am there, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm wondering, how am I going to distribute the love I have for my daughter to 24 kids, 24 boys and girls? But God told me after 6 months, I had this inner voice telling me, this is the place where I want you to serve me. And that was after 6 months when I joined that children organization. And this children organization, was depending on well wishers. My task was to do fundraising. My task was to go out and as much as I am taking care of these kids, I was also tasked with the fundraising, going out, talking to organizations like banks, going to the malls, going to different churches, and I remember, yes, we went with the kids. Sometimes we would go to the kids, we would be invited, I would talk, the kids would present, and that's how we were raising funds. That's how we were creating awareness for these kids. Back at home, I was also teaching them. I was also modeling my life there, through my behavior, through my actions, equipping them, having devotions every morning. Those who were not born again became born again. And I wish you can hear testimonies of how kids say, before they joined by grace, they did not know how to pray. They did not know about Jesus. When they joined there, they found a place where you pray every morning. Every kid is given an opportunity to share. And they also gained confidence. They gained boldness. They could stand in front of other kids and lead worship songs and even preach from the Bible. So that made me very happy, because I could see transformation of the mind and also transformation of character. And that's how we raised our kids there, our 24 kids that I found when I joined. And I stayed with them, sleeping in the same house, eating the same food, going to the church. Some were very young. I could carry them on my back. That time we didn't even have a vehicle. But we have seen God doing wonders and great miracles for these children, because God provided. Before, they were eating one meal in a day. Now they give testimonies and say, we eat 3 meals in a day. And not only meals, they eat balanced foods. And the kids who were malnourished, they became, nourished, and they looked healthy. Before, they had what we call a fungal infection all over their head, and we took care of that. Even with my experience of working in a pharmaceutical company, I brought my skills, I brought my experience, and I was now treating these kids. Remember, we did not have money. Even taking these kids to the hospital, it was, we needed money. But with my skills and my experience, I would not take, I wouldn't take an issue, a small issue to the hospital, because I knew how to do it. So I also thank God. even for taking me there, because God knew where I was going to use that experience. But remember, my prayer was transforming lives, not only physical, but also spiritual, because I wanted to, the way I became born again, I wanted to spread the love of Jesus to other people so that they can also experience and change. And that is how I started leadership development and in children. That is how I started also training caregivers. That is also how I started mentoring, motivating, and encouraging these kids. And above all, living my life as a role model to these kids. So I went back to school myself because I wanted to be developed so that I can also develop these kids. And it's not that I had money. I had so much problems, insufficiency, but I had a big God. So I trusted God for 2,100 Kenya shillings. That's about $20. I trusted the Lord with the money. I prayed for the money. And I decided to apply for an AA certificate, which I applied, and I did Christian ministries. So the reason was I wanted to give back to my children. I wanted to teach them whatever I am learning in school. I wanted to develop these kids, because remember, I am teaching them. I am not experienced. So I wanted to give them substance. That's why I went back to school and I brought back to my kids, and my kids continued. They continued with their education, and I am so happy to say that today we have 350 kids in K8. We have 253 high school students. We have 18 college students. We have 3 students who have finished one student have finished his master's degree, and 2 have finished their bachelor's degree, and we have many of them who have finished diploma degrees, and the 18 are already in the university. And we are trusting the Lord. Even the ones who have finished their AA or diploma, they can go ahead and do their undergraduate degree. And if God opens the door, they can also do graduate degrees, So I am excited about that. And because of doing that, the Lord opened for me a great door, even to travel overseas, to come and study for the sake of these children, because I realize the need of education in Kenya is big. We need to educate children, we need to educate women, and we want to educate them, good education policies. We want to develop curriculums that are going to teach the kids. We want to develop models that are going to teach the kids without denying them experience, teaching them without denying them, like going to the whole world. Like, we are not preparing them for the village next door. We are not preparing them for the town that is, where they were born. We are preparing them for the world, so that wherever they go, they can make an impact. And I know that if I can transform one child, I have already transformed a whole village, because that one child is also going to transform another one and another one and another one. So you cannot just transform the whole country. We have to start with one. When you plant that one seed is going to grow into more seeds. And if these seeds are planted wherever they go, they are also going to grow. So I am encouraging you, do not fear wherever you are. I know Rwanda is a developing country. I have been into Rwanda and I was impressed with what I saw in Rwanda, and I want to encourage you that you can come to Biola. You don't have to have a lot of money to come and study. All what you need to do is to have great faith in God, and whatever small you have, you can believe God that God is going to multiply whatever you have. You know what the Bible says about faith. God requires us to have a small faith like that of a mustard seed, very small. When we talk about small faith, you don't have to have a whole chunk of money so that you can say, now I can go and study overseas. You just need some money. If you have a little faith as that of a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move, and the mountain will move. So I thank you, Mike, for giving me an opportunity to talk to Maya and her family in Rwanda. I am very sure, Maya, you can take that step of faith. When you come here, you will see God opening great doors. And any other person who would like to come and study, this is not for Rwanda alone. This is not for Maya alone. This is for everybody who may want to come and study. We say in Africa, we have empty pockets. We do not have money, but we have a big God whom we trust, and he works great miracles for us. You know, I was giving this testimony the other day, and I think because of the testimony, I have an opportunity also to talk to people in Rwanda, you know, Christian in Rwanda who wants to change the lives of other people in their country. So I was saying, I came to the US with a 0 cent, like I didn't have money. And the money that I had, it was a loan. In other words, I was minus $4,000, which I was given as a loan to come and help me pay a quarter of my tuition. But I can tell you, I paid yes through loan. When I landed in this country, things changed. It's like everything changed for me. Things were turned upside down, and God provided the 75% that I needed, and it was paid, you know, for that semester. And the next semester, God paid for me 100%. And that's how I have survived. Second year and third year, God provided for me 50% in those years. And I was able to raise the other 50% because I was also given work in the school. In the school, they are departments and they are mini schools, and they are in one school. Biola University has got many schools, and so we have many students. We have about 6,000 students, and the people who are employed there, like in the cafeteria, in the campus safety department, in the facility department, library, and wherever, missions department, and all these departments, most of them are students. So, and you are not forced to work. So if you want to work, you just go apply and you get some work. And that's how I have been able to pay the other 50%. So I was saying, you cannot cross the river before you reach the river, or you cannot cross the bridge before you reach the bridge. Just walk, go to where the bridge is, and then you can cross the bridge. And I can assure you, you are not going to, you are going to cross the bridge. You are going to cross the bridge by the grace of God. So we are there, and I am encouraging you guys to just, have faith in God. You are Christians, and even where you have reached, it is by the grace of God. So if you want something, you just need to believe God for whatever you want, and God is going to be available for you. So I think, Mike, that is what I can share for now. If you have any question, I am glad. You can ask me, you can text me, you can email me, and I will be glad to help you. I will be glad